to fugitive investigations, I was very good with people. I would go night and day looking for who I was looking for, the fugitives, and I didn't want to stop. And I'd be jumping from roof to roof in Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, South Carolina, North Carolina. I'd just be doing a whole lot of crazy stuff. And what I will tell you is, I think that I was so good because I didn't care whether I lived or died at that time.
Lynette Butler has a storied career in enforcing the law, from traveling the world as a legendary bounty hunter to her 25 years as a police sergeant. Ultimately, it is her desire to help people on every level that has been her consistent driving force.
I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. My mother was amazing. My dad was a bail bondsman, a businessman that taught me a whole lot, but was a very abusive. I had a very abusive childhood, and I saw a whole lot of messed up stuff, and I experienced a whole lot. However, I think that made me who I am. I experienced a traumatic event very early in my life. I grew up in the hood and experienced a traumatic event that later on I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress syndrome from it. I have a photographic memory. And so when I worked in my dad's office at 12, 13 years old. And the police officers from the town would come and get me because I'd go with my dad to the jail to bail people out. The police officers would come and get me, show me a picture, and say, "You know where that guy is?" And I'd be like, "I know, yeah, I know where," and they didn't believe me. So they asked my dad, could they borrow me? I was 12 years old, first time this happened. Got in a car with the two police officers in an unmarked car. They put me in the back seat with the pictures. And probably 10 minutes later, I took them to the area where I knew those guys were. And we spotted two guys. Both of those guys jumped out the car, ran, got those guys, brought them back in cuffs. And I was in the back seat with two guys with their arms behind their back. And they looked at me and they were like, "Lynette?" I said, "Yeah, we were looking for you. You didn't appear in court." "I swear I didn't get the notice. I didn't get the notice." And I said, "Listen, I'm going to talk to my dad. And if you didn't get the notice, we can get this vacated and get you out really quick." And they were like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And I did that. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I was 12 years old. My dad went in, vacated the warrant, and those guys were out. By the time I was 15, I had so many informants, people on the street that would tell me anything because they knew that they could trust me. They knew I wasn't going out to hurt anybody, and it was a good thing. By the time I turned 18, I had a whole unit of fugitive investigators. And I ran my dad's fugitive investigations unit, and I had learned how to hit houses, you know, do major investigations, and I was very successful in it. I was deemed America's top bounty hunter for 5 years in a row by the New York Post, and had some articles in Germany where I brought in over 400 fugitives in 1 year. Being a female on the police department is very different. We are, in some ways, an anomaly. We bring different skills to the table. We look at many things a little bit differently than others. And I think it's more natural, I know in my case, it's more natural for me to try to de-escalate and to talk someone down. I am a police sergeant, and I've been so for about 25 years. I'm part of a crisis intervention program, which we started to build in 2009. It's a Memphis model of a program that helps police officers and community members to be able to deal with crisis, people in crisis or people that have a mental illness. It's a 5-day course that mostly for police officers and mental health workers. And it's very, very intense. It teaches police officers about mental illnesses, every different kind of mental illness that they could come upon. However, we focus on schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, those things that we come upon most frequently. And it's an in-depth look at it. We even bring people that have mental illness and have them on a panel so police officers can ask them questions about, what's going on, how can we do better, how can we, what does it look like, what do you need from us when you are in a crisis, what kinds of things set you off, and they're able to interact. And what's so wonderful about the program is that you see police officers coming in one way, skeptical about what they'll learn or if it is advantageous for them, and their whole perspective at the end of it is changed. To be very honest with you, I was forced to get into this. My chief ordered me to go to a training, and I was like, well, I'm a police officer. What do I have to do, with mental illness? And it's really funny because the second day of the course, a woman came in and she talked about her experience with her son having schizophrenia and the long years that she endured with him trying to navigate, getting his symptoms under control, and that in the end, he sat on a railroad track and allowed a train to hit him and committed suicide. And I'm telling you, I was bawling in that class, and I made a decision that day after hearing her and the effects that this has on families, that I was going to do everything I could to educate police officers, to have them be able to help from what we can do. When I came upon the program with mental illness, I still hadn't made the connection to why I was so passionate about changing people's minds about how mental illness affects people. My post-traumatic stress syndrome, I went to counseling for 8 years and was able to overcome a whole lot of stuff without medication. De-escalation is a big part of it. If somebody's in a crisis and they're at a 10 and we come in at a 10, we're not going to be able to help them. But if we come in at a 1 and we calm them down, the resolution, the end of it is so different.
My name is Lynette Butler, and I'm a woman on the move.